Welcome back, still Daybreak Africa, reaching you here from our studios in Ondo City, still in the spirit of Ondo elections. But this morning we shall be talking on its leadership. Of course, we already have an elected governor already. We're talking about the citizens' expectation for a better governance, and with us in the house is a public analyst. We have Akinsile, Akinniran. Welcome on the show once again.
Thank you
and
for
happy new month.
I wish the same anyway. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You are glowing, guys.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
yourself as well.
Thank you.
Well, going straight to the discourse of the day, I'm very certain that you followed up with the electioneering process and all of that. Before we delve into the particular discourse for today, I'd like to get your view on your general assessment about the election.
You mean Ondo State just
Ondo
concluded
State,
election?
yes.
In fairness, apart from one or two itches, I have seen it to be a kind of the fairest, one of the best elections ever happened in Ondo Kingdom, in Ondo State as well too. One, there are numbered of violence. I perceived one or two places it never happened, and the election process went free and fair, except for one particular factor I think Nigeria must address. That's the issue of vote trading. I mean, I call it vote trading because there is buying and selling, and there are buyers and there are sellers, and it's not limited to a party. Every party is trying to play along, and if Nigeria continue in this way, I am afraid what will be the end of it all. That means nobody will ever vote for as long as his conscience is concerned anymore. People will vote for the highest bidder and highest bargain. It's not good for our electoral system. Our government should do something about it. I am talking about INEC.
Before we go any further, I would like to ask your take quickly on security measures in the state. Do you think security measure was adequate enough?
On that day, because I went round, I discovered that at every polling unit, we have the minimum of 2 police officers, but outside that, we have they deployed the civil defense, they deployed road safety, they deployed police officers, and to some strategic area we have soldiers. I think that really made the tension to be down, unlike what politicians are expecting that day. So to me, the security arrangement is averagely and fairly okay.
I think here comes a contradiction or paradox, case maybe. We have full security measures, like you said, mounting every point, strategic point at every polling unit, and yet you still mentioned the issue of gross, in your words, vote trading.
Yeah.
So what then was the security personnel there doing? Were they complacent? What then happened?
No, they are not even involved in any way. In this vote trading, the players are aware that if the police officers catch them, or if the security outfits were able to lay hands on them, they're in trouble. So it was tactically handled. And yet, I remember that even in those West here, some hoodlums were caught by EFCC with money. Likewise in Ogar and some other areas. That was those places where they did it openly. But it was so done in a clever way that it will take extra mile and extra step for any security officer to get them arrested. They just give them number, they notice what you vote, and you go to another hidden place, get your money. So it was not a kind of easy task that anybody can just catch. They did it in a clever way. So all I am expecting that subsequently our security outfits should be able to work extra mile to make sure they have ways of discovering where this money are being kept, the players or the traders, because the parties, and why it was even difficult, it was not limited to a party. IDB, it was a party that was doing it, other party could have exposed, but all of them are doing it. So hardly any security officer can get them. But I will just beg the security officers or outfits that will be used in subsequent election to be more vigilant and go extra mile. If possible, they should go for training on how to get these people. They are not helping Nigeria, and the future of Nigeria is breaking if vote trading still continue. I submit.
Well, regarding INEC performance, comparing it with the just concluded Edo State governorship election with this current Ondo State governorship election, would you say they performed better this time?
I would say yes, because except few places, even the PDP candidates, Honorable Alfred Abuela said, it took him about 10 minutes before he could access the Beavers machine and vote eventually. I noticed the same thing in about 3 or 4 polling units visited. That similar thing happened. And outside that, every other material has been available. I've been moving out around 7 o'clock, and I've been seeing them moving. I've seen INEC officials and the security men going to their various polling units. And as at 8 o'clock, votes have commenced in all polling units visited. So apart from the Beavers machine that they need to work on, and it's not even the fault of the INEC, I think they need to go back to the maker of that machine to maybe upgrade so as to meet up with the needed expectations of voters. So far so good. I still give it to the INEC.
More like they achieved a milestone in this election.
I'm not saying milestone anyway. They said they did well, better than what happened in Edo State.
It's more like, are they headed somewhere?
Yes, I think with what happened in Ondo State, if INEC can improve on it, they may go places. Unlike in the past, because I am an advocate that INEC had not been doing well in Nigeria. But Ondo State case was a bit better, because there was no where they were identified with any malpractice in all the states, compared to where they compromise. But in Ondo State, nobody can tell me, and no, as far as of today, I have never heard that the INEC officials compromised anyway, except before the election, where the parties or some parties were alleging their resident officers that they should be changed. But everything done was or were perfectly did, and it was nice, and nobody can point to them where they had made error. Not even one. So that's why I'm giving to them, and they still need to improve on what we have seen so far, particularly on the Beavers and other ways of handling their jobs.
Well, diving into the area of discussion for today, before we get deeper into it, I'd like you to probably evaluate the 10 months that the governor spent in office. That's Lokai Datiwa, shortly after the passing of his predecessor, late Akinniran.
Oh, thank you very much. By my analysis, a governor is expected to spend 48 months in office. And when you take 10 from 48, we are left with 38. That means he is short of 38 months. And these 10 months, imagine or guess what are the likely projects this man can handle and accomplish or conclude in 10 months. Except few, I doubt it. So 10 months is not enough for me to judge him whether he has done well or not. Notwithstanding, let us use some indices. Salary payments. Workers get their salary as and when due in Ondo State. So it's a plus for him, unlike before, whereby until like 7th or 10th of the following month, no worker in Ondo State will get their salary. But this one, he said, is making a kind of policy that at every 25th of every month, workers must have gotten their salary. And he maintained this for almost 10 months. That's a good one for him. In terms of social amenities, he came up with this Odatiwa meter reader. Though it's expensive, people will not access it. But he made sure that as far as Ondo State is concerned, people can access meter. There's PCN meter. Yeah. Anybody can, if you have the amount specified, you can get it easily. So that he made it available for the state anyway. That's a plus for him. In terms of agriculture, I have not seen much of him, because except for the rice brought from the federal government to give to people, except fertilizer brought by individuals, I have not seen much impact from the government to the people. Let's go to education. Yes, I can give it to him. Some in some area, maybe the grants expected to the schools, though it's a bit meager compared to what other states pay, but he still pay to these schools. And let's stay on the education issue of WAEC, that though the money were not paid as at the time WAEC is expecting the money to come in, but when people intervened, he has paid. Though some people believe that was why the Ondo State result was not good. No, the result has been marked. Yeah, the evidence has been there. It's not that it was not released. So immediately they paid the result was released. So we cannot say because there was late payment that led to the failure on the part of the student. No, as you lay your bed, so you sleep on it. It was what they wrote, they got. So people should not apportion that blame to the governor. And that's, by the way, going another area of another sector, economic sector. There's nothing different. We know that as of today, things are extremely expensive in Nigeria, and in those states, it's not an exemption. But today, now, if you read what he said yesterday, he said he needed some technocrats that will handle the economic situation of those states so that they will strive. He has planned, but these 10 months, and don't forget that when he was coming on board, he had so many challenges. He was almost removed. He was almost impeached. So many factors. So coming on board as governor, he needed some time to put his brain afresh and ready for the assignment. As he was trying to do that, election came. So don't forget that there was a kind of primary election in the party. So these are distractions. After winning the primary election, there are issues that came up, yet he managed it. Today, he's back as governor. So these issues, the time frame did not give him enough opportunity to exhibit what he has in stock for the state. But let us now see what he will do in the next 48 months. And let's see where he will take Ondo State to.
Considering the landslide he had during the elections, and also the 10 months he had, which you did tend to analyze, I think so that, do you think the people tend to vote him because of this 10-month period, or the people still believed in APC per se?
I'm sorry for laughing. If you see the results, you will know that it has negated your assumption. It has never happened in the history of Ondo State. Less than 25% voters voted. Very, very unprecedented. It has never happened. The least you can see in Ondo State was around 40% voters. But having less than 25%, that means, take for instance, a student went to an exam hall, he scored 24.7% in exam. Is that a pass or fail? That means something must be wrong somewhere. One, perhaps they don't trust the APC government. Two, maybe they don't. The workers were not happy with the table they saw from this minimum wage received. Three, people are tired of hunger. It seems government of the day, perhaps at national level, is trying to weaponize poverty or hunger, so that they will be weakened and they will be easily governed. So people do not pray, okay, if I stay at my house and nobody is going to, impose anything on me, you won't force me to vote, you won't force me to do anything, you won't even influence me. Because some people may believe that if they go to the polling unit or polling booth to vote, some people may influence them. Sir, whether you vote or not, we are going to a match. Why can't you take this? Any party could say that. And for someone that has his own mind, may decide, okay, no, instead of me to witness such, it's better I stay in my house. But I can say it vividly, government of the need to sit down and see and try to work out or get a research to know why this election was so ridiculous that only 24.7% people came out to vote. They need to find kind of reasons why it was so. So to me, I am not happy with the result. Though he scored 18-0, as in having 18 local governments to his cover, but that does not speak the mind of Ondo State people. Take for instance, we are 100 in Ondo State, and 25 people went to vote. Does that, tell the Nigerians the mind of the remaining 75? The answer is no. The first thing to do, why did the remaining 75 not come out to vote? Let us know the reason. The 25 that came to vote, let me just tell you, they are all politicians. Everybody that voted in the last election are the practical politicians. All that area, all that sectors did not come out to vote. So let us identify why they did not come out to vote. And why do you know why the politicians came out to vote? Because they have something at stake. Politicians as a PDP, as ZDP, as APC, all came out and voted because they have something at stake. But all those people that not belong to this group I mentioned stayed at their homes. Then we need to know why they stayed at home. That's number one job. Number two, the person that came out to vote, the purpose had been is won and defeated. If you lost, that means your purpose is defeated. If you won, then you have achieved your purpose. Then let us see how you are going to manage your success and failure. If PDP today has failed, so how are they going to manage their problem? Perhaps maybe they can rise some other time. APC has won now. What is APC trying to do to make sure that things that are wrong is right? And don't forget, in Nigeria, let me say in Ondo State, APC has the highest number of tendencies. May God help them.
Amen. May God help them. Meanwhile, he's back to office, and just like he stated, he had 10 months to rule before he has emerged again as the governor of the state. So what do you think that the people of Ondo actually need at this particular point in time? What do they seek for when it comes to governance in Ondo State?
Above all, they need good governance. But good governance so much that we have to be identifying it one after the other. One, thinking about economic situation of Nigeria, Ondo State, it needs to work on it. And when you are working on the economic situation of Ondo State, you have to identify some factors. Agriculture, number one. This present government must work on agriculture in Ondo State, because 75% of Ondo State workers, Ondo State indigenes, are farmers, and they must be encouraged and motivated to do more farming in all ways. How is going to achieve that, we don't know. The number two, about 30% of Ondo State people are civil servants. I stand to be corrected. About 30%. How are you motivating this 3% to influence the remaining 65 or 70% of farmers? Because these workers will determine how the market will look like. Because if these same workers will go to the market and buy foods because they don't have time to farm for food. These workers want to build houses, whereby bricklayers, carpenters, and even mechanic will enjoy from them. Because if their car has issues, they have to give to the mechanic. If they are building houses, they need the service of a bricklayer, the service of a furniture, carpenter, and the rest. You can only do this when you have extra, not from the one you want to consume, find your livelihood. Still, there are three most essential needs in the whole world. That's what do we call it? Sheltering, clothing, and food. Food is most important, because you can only survive when you eat good food. Except as of today, food is expensive, not only in Ondo State, but in Nigeria. What is our government trying to do in Ondo State to cushion it? In Lagos State, as of today, Sanwo-Olu has introduced so many markets whereby they sell foods at a subsidized price. It could be extended to Ondo State if so desire. There are so many things. We have lands. Lagos did not have land. And call the youths and the farmers to go to the farm, motivate them by giving them something to work with. That's not, when that one is done, at least hunger will be reduced to a reasonable extent. Then let's go to education. What are you doing? He has been doing well by paying the WAEC fees of students in Ondo State. We give it to him. And at the same time, he did one thing that had been forgotten during Akiti era, but he has come back to it, and I have to give it to him. That is shuttle bus. Our children can now go to school with their shuttle bus. We pray that they should not abandon it again. They should continue with it. So that will serve as cushion for the parents, particularly the students that their schools are far from their homes. These are little things we don't count, but has effects. And by the time our farm goods will begin to come, let us have subsidized food. Go and buy from somewhere, send it home. If you are buying 50,000, sell it for 30,000. So government will take care of the remaining 20,000. These are the only ways people can benefit from the government. So that, provided it is being done. Going to that, taking it one after the other, agriculture gone, education gone, health sector. Today, an average to the World Health Organization definition, that state of complete well-being, and nobody has it in the world. So people are tend to sick. There was a government in the past that were taking care of the pregnant women, 0 to 5 years old. You could go further. Okay, maybe the aged. Once you are 70 or 65 years old and above, you should have access to free education, free medical care. The same thing applicable to the pregnant women and children between the age of 0 to 5. If this comes back, it will serve as a relief to so many homes in Ondo State. Don't forget, you are not going to pay for this. It's government money. And at the same time, if you go further in the same sector, find another means beyond that. NHIS can be introduced to workers, which has been done anyway. Just take stipend from them and they can have access to free medical care. When these ones are done, you know that the relief will be so enormous. The relief will be everywhere, and you will see that psychologically, those people will be happy, even without getting 5 naira from the government. So these are my own thinking, that these are the little things I think of now that the government of the day can do to save the situation, not by having 400 or 500 essays as submit.
You know, we need oppositions in order to ensure democracy is democracy in every organization, or in every country rather. When we talk about opposition in Ondo State, looking at the concluded elections, I mean, opposition was not really an opposition, if I will use that term. You know, comparing 117,000 to over 366,000, it's really, there's a margin, there's a huge gap there. So do you think oppositions at this point will actually tend to do what oppositions are expected to do, to actually put the governor on his toes, or are we just going to experience the campaign as always?
To start with, I have to appreciate the opposition. I never knew they could get that number. I'm telling them, I was expecting maybe we have like 20 or 30,000 votes, because as of today in Ondo State, all political gladiators are in one party. Yet the little left were able to gather that amount of votes. I give it to them. The question is this: do we need to have opposition in Ondo State? The answer is yes. What is the essence of having opposition? Opposition party stands as like a pressure group to ensure the government of the day stands on their feet. But very unfortunate, we don't have it in Ondo State as of today. And you know why it is so? Because everybody is thinking after their pockets. Even the opposition themselves. Give them a token, they will forget their mission and the ideas they thought was the best before. So the money has been weaponized as a means of weakening the opposition, and they are getting it every day. Don't forget, a few months ago, some political gladiators decamped from one party to the other. And these are the names, if I say names, identified names in the society, leaving their party to a ruling party. You know why? Because the so-called opposition did not get their house in order. And why are they not getting their house in order? Because they are power intoxicated. Put all these things together. If you want to move in life, first of all, stand, identify what you want to do, and how you going to do it. You get there. Opposition did not have that, because when you say oppositions and you have 20 people as opposition people, and you have 20 ideas without coming up with one or two, then you are not ready to be an opposition. So that's number one problem with opposition, because they have a divided house. And to the ruling party, everybody, because they know that in politics we used to say one thing: our strength lies in our numbers. Numbers determine your strength politically, and when the ruling party is able to gather more numbers to their side, it's a plus. Jokingly, someone just said it that the very day they had that one particular group, the camp to APC, they know they have won, and that day they predicted 18-0. That is to say, they are going to win the all 18 local governments. What happened? They won, because they know that once that person has left that place is weakened, and it reflects. In history of Ondo State since 1976 to today, it has never happened whereby election will come and a party will win all the local government. It has never happened. This is first of its kind. And why? Because one group decamped to another group, and see the result. And to even add to it, okay, when we go to another level, maybe I will address that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's go for a short break, and when we get back, we'll dive into the second part of the discussion. Just stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We we're talking about citizens' expectation as regarding the newly elected. Is it really newly elected? But of course, the re-election of Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa as the governor, talking about citizens' expectation and how he intends hitting the ground outright. But whilst on that, we tend to shift just a little away and we're trying to talk about the opposition's party, their strength, how they actually tend to get it wrong. And at this point, I'm really curious. Although you did mention that they tend to get it wrong even before the elections, because there was lots of the campaign, and you said something about a particular group leaving for another, which actually broke the camel's back at that point. What then was the strategy? What was the campaign strategy that actually made APC stand out? Was it the ability to lure or woo opposition strong men or women, into their party? Was that the strategy, or was it purely playing on the emotions and sentiments of the people?
Thank you very much. I want to use a very bad language, and pardon me for saying it. APC as a party took advantage of the opposition. That was the only thing that happened. They knew that the opposition did not get their house in order, and they took advantage of it. And those people that are supposed to put the house in order decided not to put the house in order. And that's the end result. If you have issues with your members, there are ways to handle it in such a way that everybody will be committed. And nobody will always love to associate with loser. It got to a stage whereby, I want to mention particularly PDP in Ondo State, they call them serial loser. Since one particular PDP had left office till today, they have not gotten it. You know why? When they are having issues, they don't know how to resolve their internal crisis. There's no way they can resolve. Even surprisingly, one of their leaders, that out of anger, came out and instructed his followers to vote for APC that particular day, because they thought he is not relevant, and he wanted to teach them that he's relevant, and the best way to teach them is relevant is for him to instruct his followers to vote for ruling party. Is that not ridiculous? That's to tell you that they don't have what it takes to handle their internal crisis. And APC as a ruling party, like I said earlier, knows that our strength in politics lies in numbers. So they took advantage of the number and they got what they want, and you see the result. Now let us be realistic. APC has not been fine in Nigeria and in Ondo State too. They have not been doing well. But it's like when you have two problems, you have to put them on preference. That which one is better? Problem A, problem B. If I handle problem A, I can get result. If I handle problem B, I cannot get result. What do? You go for problem A with the hope that perhaps with time you get over any problem that is identified. So that's why APC was able to get what they want. And let me tell you, it will not be as easy as they think, because if all these gladiators that are not there are ready to identify and address all issues known to be anti-masses, and I respect the present governor of Ondo State, His Excellency Lucky Ayedatiwa. He has done some things that I want to say thank you, even before he started. Let me tell you one thing. I remember I said it earlier, that in this Ondo State, a government came, they introduced shuttle bus for our people and students, and another government came and stopped it for no reason. But today, His Excellency Honorable Lucky Ayedatiwa has reintroduced it back, and students have been enjoying it in the last one year, or let me say 10 months. That's number one. Our healthcare, this man, you know what when there were issues, he said, okay, every Ondo State people should go and register free, and doctors will attend to you free in Ondo State. This same governor did it. In addition to that, he has been paying, because he knows that once you get your money, you can do something with it, particularly when you get it earlier. He started paying it. These are the things the past government did not do. So that means he's a listening governor, and he's likely to correct some issues. But my prayer is that he should be able to do it to satisfaction and to the end. And today, I can tell you that more people smile and sleep well at night than how it was in the past, or let me say in the last 7 or 6 years in Ondo State. So I've been seeing the changes, but my prayer that the change should continue and should be more. To me, as of today, APC were able to get what they want because they took advantage of the weakness of the other party. And I can assure you, this same opposition party, they are not ready to get their house in order. And I don't see them going far.
All right, talking about governance leadership in Nigeria, in particular Ondo State. Now, we know for a fact that governance is not meant for leaders alone, and as it may be, it involves both the leaders and the people who are being governed. So at this point, what strategy do you think the government can adopt in order to get, listen more to the people and know how to balance their strategies and how to even implement some of these plans to make this the state much more productive and even developed?
Thank you very much. Well, on paper, the masses, or let me say the people, supposed to dictate or determine what the government will do. That's normal. However, as of today, they have representatives. This masses representative will suggest to the government, and the government will now try to look into it and do it. That has been the practice of recent. And on this note, there are some government that has foresight. May God bless our chief, Obafemi Awolowo. That man has foresight. He can easily read the mind of the followers. By the time he will suggest to them, they will take it in good faith. At the other time, and another way, there are some followers that will suggest to him, and he will pick sense from it as idea, and he will develop on it. That is why Southwest is what it is today. However, the leadership of today, the question we are asking them is this: do they listen to their followers? Do they listen to the representatives? Do they have something upstairs that they can offer? Someone like me, I think of it every day, that how I wish I can have the opportunity to rule or to serve. Then I will now let them know that what Chief Obafemi Awolowo has, the kind of Nnamdi Azikiwe and the rest, they have. I have it too. But unfortunately, people like that will not always get there. And those that are there, I remember, may God bless this, our former governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olusegun Ramon. When he was in government, he did what nobody has ever done in the history of Ondo State, in the history of Nigeria. As of today, the only federal medical university in Nigeria, the only medical university in Nigeria is in Ondo State. And this man initiated it and ensured it was done. These medical issues, he started it. Free education, he started it. Free shuttle bus, he started it. He initiated it. Maybe he has some, he has that's why they call him caring heart governor. Then, because he has the heart of the people, he has the heart, his heart is always after his people. And that was why he could deliver. Today, the reverse is the case. I wish the strategy this present governor can do or can use to get what he wants is to have listening here. 1, to the representatives. 2, he needs to have advisors that could give him the right advice at the right time. However, what can you do now? Because as of today, we know everybody is hungry in Ondo State. So the only thing they can do is what can we do to cushion the hunger? What can we do so that an average Ondo State people can, if you cannot eat 3 square meals, you have to go for 2 meals or 2.5. Then how do we do it? Let us find food on the table of everybody. And how do we do it? There's a data analysis done by this same maybe go there. They call it Kadigbiayo. Let every Ondo State people, individual, ask Kadigbiayo, whereby that card can be credited, can be done with, can be government. If you want to have the card, you can access on this from the government, even on loan, because you'll be identified with that card. It's possible. So by the time you begin to do this, you know that 1, hunger will be reduced. Number 2, everybody likes a comfortable life. What can you do to make life comfortable for people? Houses are now expensive to rent. Is that you subsidize the house rent or you give instruction what the house rent should be? That will cushion the effect on those people that renting houses. That's number 2. Number 3, transportation. Everybody goes on transportation now as far as Ondo State is concerned. Only few has houses, has personal cars. Even those that has personal cars cannot fuel it anymore because of the exorbitant price hike in petrol.
Okay.
So what can you do on transportation? Subsidize it. In Lagos today, they have BRT, they have commercial buses, and even the commercial buses has been subsidized too by the government. What our government should do is to ensure our transport system is subsidized. And going to education, he has been doing that, but let him do more. Last September, when student came in, we have some secondary school that paid as much as 70,000 being a new entrance into secondary school. It's too exorbitant. Government should do something to ensure that they pay less. And going by that, even some provisions that was to be made that they ask the petition press to bring, they should be able to do it. The government should be able to do that as a kind of palliative. Even the palliative being introduced by the governor of Ondo State from 30,000 back to 15,000. Though some people are complaining that it's supposed to be in that 30,000, yet it made it to 15,000. 15 or 30 is still good money for an hour. It's a free money. So put all these things together. If our government can sit down, identify where they want to face, in ensuring to cushion the effect of hunger or economic situation in Ondo State, will be a great advantage for them. And I can assure you, if this is done for another 4 years, by the time we are going to vote again, they are going to have a better number of voters coming out to vote.
Well, we've been, sorry to cut you, Ezekiel, but we've been talking about some of the areas which the government actually need to talk about, look into, which is like the health and the educational sector, for example. Now, we know for a fact that when it comes to quality of teachers, it's quite alarming. We actually do not have sustainable quality teachers in our schools, and also we have people in the medical line always trying to get their way out of the country because they feel that is where the grass is greener. And now it has caused shortage when it comes to medical personnel being available to treat people in the hospitals and all of that. It has its own effect on the people as well. So what kind of strategy do you think the government can, adopt in settling this kind of problems we are facing? Because one way or the other, whether we like it or not, it is having an impact on our future.
Thank you very much. In the area of health, little can be said, because I cannot see where the green is greener and think of staying where it is only green. No, I will look for options. And what can you do as a government for such not to happen is to motivate. The motivation can come in so many ways. One, maybe enumeration, perhaps, and make it encouraging. So you could make it a kind of housing loan that will hook that person down, so that will not be able to travel because you are committed to a certain loan. Perhaps building houses, you could think, or giving cars to these people will be a kind of motivation for them to do more. Let's come to education. You can imagine a teacher going to school empty stomach. What would that teacher offer the pupils, all the students? When a teacher is hungry, what can such teacher offer the children? Nothing, because one, he must take care of that hunger before he can take care of any of the pupils or the students. And that is why when the issue of minimum wage came up, some people are saying on the state table is too small, it's unreasonable. It doesn't even I think I read the head of the negotiating team said no, this is unacceptable to the workers. Why? Because it does not commensurate with what is expected. So I want to appeal to the governor elect, that maybe he can still have a review and rethink, so that workers can be encouraged to get something done. Because with what they showed, with what they show us and what we saw, I don't think there was anybody that has more than 60,000 increment in their salary compared to what is happening in Nigeria today. If you just imagine, as at the time they were selling fuel for 200 naira, today it's now 1,000 plus. That's times 5 plus. So any wage that's not times 5 plus, anything you see today is times 5 plus. Just mention one good, the what do you call it? The table water. I mean, this sachet water is being sold for 10 naira. Today it's 1 for 15 naira.
Yes.
That's times 5. That's the list. And the more, just mention any goods or commodity. Mention it. That as at last year that is being sold for a certain amount, maybe January, as at today, it must be at least times 5 of it. So if your salary is not times 5 of what you are getting, then you are not helping yourself. And the government is not helping you. So for it to be balanced, it must be times 5. But today, the workers only have some stipend above what they are getting before. So they are not encouraged. And such person will not give his best to the job. And if you want the best for the job, you motivate them to give you the best. That's about that. And lastly, on this issue, in fairness, if things are not going well or is not going the way it's supposed to go, I expect the government to sit down. Why is it so? Why are we not getting the needed result? Take for instance, when this issue of let me call it economic comatose happened in Nigeria, some government in this Nigeria, maybe they allow their workers to work for 3 days, some for 2 days, some even give them transportation allowances, even provide transportation for them. So many things were done to cushion the effects. Let me ask us, in Ondo State, apart from the 15,000 palliative added to their salary, what other effect was given to them? So I beg the governor today to work on that too, that you only get the best of your people when they are happy. And how can they be happy? When you make them happy, they will be happy. And this is one of the reasons why it reflects in the election results. It has never happened, like I said before. It was because people are not happy and they are not motivated to come out and vote. That was why the result was so bad. I call it bad because it has never happened before. And any election in Nigeria that only less than 25% of people came out to vote showed that people are not happy for that. People are not ready or satisfied with that election. That was why it was so. So I want the government to think in that direction, and I hope and pray they will get results.
Hopefully.
Now, Governor Oloki has always claimed to run an inclusive government. I tend to ask if you see him actually extending a hand, not politically to his opponent or opposition party, but just more like extending a hand to help enable him build this state. Do you actually see him doing that? Not on a political ground, not exactly wanting them to come to APC, but just extending their hands so as to just make things work. I mean, the winner is already announced. All deeds is done. So do you see that happening, and do you see opposition actually coming out to want to help build the state one way or another?
To an extent, I want to believe he has that mind.
To an extent.
To an extent, and I will tell you why. If someone knew that, as of today, since 1976 till today, only a governor, we only have one ex-governor and one ex-military head. The two of them are now his best friend. Perhaps he's trying to learn from them. That's Bode George and Shegun Mimiko. He's close to two of them, perhaps, and they are not in his party anyway. But because he needed their wealth of experience, that's why he's trying to release with them. So such person has the mind of unity government. That's number one. He had problem in APC. You know why? Because there are so many tendencies after the primary election. They had this and that. But today, he has called all of them. And he has begged them. That was why all of them worked for him during the election time. That is another ways of telling you that he has a kind of mind of bringing people together. That's number two. Put these two together. Show that even immediately after the election, when he spoke, he said he welcomed everybody to work with him, opposition or not. This is to tell you that once he can say that, and he has practicalized it, show that he can still do more. So to me, that's what I said, to an extent, human beings are unpredictable. With what he has done, perhaps maybe for election purpose, that was why he was doing that. So it was now when he becomes the governor now. Let's see whether he's going to work more on that, or jettison it, or bid on it. Time will tell. But for now, based on his antecedents, I can say he has such a mind.
Considering his administration, once again, I know we tend to scrutinize him for just a little time, just 10 months. But even within that 10 months, do you see transparency? What's your take on accountability and effective leadership? You did mention just a bit about effective leadership already. Having the heart of wanting to bring unity, bring people together, in spite of all that had happened or is happening. What about transparency and accountability?
You know, when you asked that question, I laughed.
You did.
Because I remember during the governorship debate, Agbola asked him a similar question. And he answered it brilliantly anyway. Because he said, government is not what you can expose to the world. And today I'm not in government. So I hardly know what I can say, whether I can say is transparent or not. So it is difficult for me to judge in that area. So I won't go into that. Okay. And going to accountability, he has not been able to, because before you mention accountability, that means he must have given the records of work he has done in the last 10 months and what came out, or what has, how the account is balanced. If it can become a public paper now, I can read through, I can say this and that. Since I cannot access it, there's no way I can say whether this man is accountable or not. But so far so good. Since everything is going on smoothly, nobody is complaining, workers are not complaining, project handlers are not complaining, politicians are not complaining. I have not seen anybody complaining about Ondo government not doing the right thing except one. And that one has, well, maybe that waste management person that said the money was not paid. Later we discovered that the man was removed because he was not doing well. That was why he now said he resolve to blackmailing. So that one is not enough for to say whether he's doing well or not. To me, so far so good. Since I've not heard from anywhere whether it's transparent or accountable, no, yes or no, right or not, I cannot say anything about it. So far so good. I have seen him as a good governor.
Right. So understanding one can take the oath of office more than twice, do you think he has the ability to do all he can do for the state within 4 years?
I want to take you through the memory lane.
All right.
Baba late Adifarati had 4 years in office. His legacies are still dating today. 4 years, 48 months are good months for you to do whatever you want to do. You don't have excuse for not accomplish your mission within 4 years, except you are lazy or you don't know what you are doing. And if governance is continuous or continua anyway, there is need for you to know that wherever you stop, other person will continue from there. That is why people are now advocating that. Look at Lagos State. Since 1998 date, government has not changed. They had a blueprint in 1999 and they're still working on it today. Nothing changed. So, but in Ondo State here now, the first blueprint I ever had of was from late Segun Agagu. Till today I've not heard anything about it because the vision, that blueprint died with him. So nobody's going to continue that, which was one of the reasons why we cannot move the way Lagos is moving. Thank God today, late Akiti has given office to Olumisa now, and after for another 4 years, Olumisa will give to another person. Let us see whether the continual governance we desire will come, and if it will come, are we sure that today we do anyway? APC did not come with any blueprint, but I hope this present government will come with one and they work with it. So far so good. Where there's no blueprint, there's nothing you can do.
Okay.
Well, thank you for joining us on the program today. It's quite a shame that always time is a constraint on the program. We hope to continue next time, definitely.
No problem.
Well, this is where we will be ending the discussion.
Which brings us to the end for Daybreak Africa for the morning. But of course, we'll be here same time, same station tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day. I remain Ezekiel Ogar.
Have a blessed day. I remain Angela Daku.